Everyone, how are you? My screen is still messed up, but I'm here. I'm here.
Peace. You good,
You
fam?
good, bro?
Yeah, you good, man.
You guys
Glad
are
to
all
have you.
so amazing. The music that you put out, the way you carry yourselves, the connection, the community that you have between each other, the way you big each other up. Um, I'm not trying. I hope I'm not being disrespectful to anyone, but I feel that new Wu-Tang energy right here, like 2021.
Word.
Wow.
Peace. That's appreciated.
Everybody here is everybody here
Man.
is talented. Everybody here got bars and got knowledge, dropping knowledge. Understanding the new technologies and the structures necessary to get the ideas out. The plethora of ways that you're articulating self and the community. There's just so much dopeness here. Thank you very much for having me here.
Wow, I'm humbled, man.
Man,
Like,
listen, yeah,
Right.
word up.
You do know
I'm
you're not getting
humbled,
paid
yo.
for this, right?
yeah, for real, yo. Like,
I'm gonna put on this, okay? You wanna lay in here and watch it?
Hey,
man,
Okay,
hip hop
I'm
brought us
gonna
together, man. Hip hop.
Daddy's on the phone, okay?
hey, MidSkool, you got a light or something you can put in front of you to give you a little more
I'm gonna connect it here.
on the face?
Okay.
That is intentional. I was gonna just put like a picture, but I just felt like I need to participate. So yeah, I wanted to participate.
Wait a second.
So
okay?
can I ask who's dragging Pitchfork? You're dragging Pitchfork. Okay,
That's
we
me.
had a great conversation.
You did.
Not a lot of knowledge there, NFTs and all that. Yeah, we're gonna talk more.
Appreciate it. Definitely. Yeah, we're gonna talk and we're gonna do some work, bro. Definitely, man.
And I
Yes,
told
sir.
you I was gonna just put some kind of like a video or some picture, but I just felt I needed to just come through and just be in it as much as possible. So
That's dope, man. I appreciate you. I told you I was real hesitant on putting the face on cam before too, man. I hate putting face on cam, so I appreciate you. Appreciate you doing it. We were gonna work around it either way, man. If you prefer not to be seen, I had no problem. I respect you.
and I didn't get a chance to change. I just came back from this meeting with my graduate department. I had a lot of problems trying to do my research around hip hop culture, and it was the last 3 weeks. It's been like crazy, but I finally got the okay to go ahead and do what I'm gonna do. So yeah, that's why I'm late. No what is it? CPT, no CPT here.
Congratulations, man.
Brother, you doing big things, man. Just
Yeah.
appreciate you even taking the time, man. For real.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
Real.
awesome,
Get us in.
man. That's
Sorry,
awesome.
And I see the work that some of you have done with David. I talked to Mr. Shah earlier. Yeah, David's a great person, and the stuff that you guys did together was so great. You guys need to somehow one day just get that stuff, put it all together into some kind of mix or something. Just drop some releases on that. Boom, 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 boom. And then after that becomes the template, the exemplar, and then everybody else is gonna be like, "Yo, can I get one on that?" That's a paradigm right there. It's just waiting to be explored. I can't wait to see how that's gonna come out.
Plans. T-Bear already did one. He did a compilation of some of his reels. He does the DJ reels, the DJ Luke reels.
Yeah.
He did a compilation of his. It was dope. He did two of them. You did two, right, Bear?
Yeah, I did 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they were dope. The second one was especially dope because the way he blended them together or whatever. So yeah, looking forward to doing some.
So why I can't see them?
He's got them on his page. Are you following him?
Page?
T-Bear 183.
I believe yes. We have been like the last week or so. So
Okay,
that's
what's your link?
that intersectionality. Me, I'm MidSkool.
No, I was saying we'll send you links to his.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll send it to you. Don't worry about it.
But I know like maybe Mr. Rashid on his page, for example, I think it was his page, I saw everybody else. So he had like a thing, and then like, okay, that's the crew. So I see Mr. Kareem, Mr. Tobias, I see everybody like that. So if you go to one person's crew, you should be able to like go to everybody else's crew and get that knowledge. So that would help me a lot. If I'm interested and I was looking, so if I couldn't get it, the other people, they might have same issues.
Word. No, that's valuable, man. Word.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. Yeah, that Gotta
There are
link
plans
that
to
up.
actually build out the site too, so that we give everybody their own showcases on the site and all that. So that's good feedback. That's something that I think we can incorporate into the site too to make it a little easier for
This is
everybody.
again, I'm not trying to. You're completely original. You're your own people, but
You want me to put it
that
in the building so we can?
1995 Wu-Tang energy, I feel it right here, man. Everybody got their own slot. They got their own way of contributing, but together, Voltron is just so amazing.
Mm.
That means a lot, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
But that's how we came together anyway. We was all doing our own thing, but we kind of knew each other. And then it was actually Dragon's idea. He just put it together. You know, he hit me first. Or I don't even know if it was first, but he was like, "Man, why don't you do something with me?" I was down. Then next thing you know, we chatting. Then the chat just started getting bigger. And that's how we came together, man. You
I need
know.
to interview you guys.
Beautiful, man. We doing
For-
internal right now. Trying to tell
For
the story, man.
for the mid school, what I'm in the process of doing is interviewing people and then putting them into comics and releasing
Okay.
them in comic form. So even any of the interviews that either this one or others in the future, if it's interesting to work together on that to make a motion comic and or comic plus with the music, that might be a thing right there.
That's
all-
dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And can I ask you how'd you get the name MidSkool?
Oh wow.
Because I like that name. I know what it means to me, but I want to hear what you.
Well, like, as I spoke, as I discussed with Mr. Shah, I like a lot of music. I like a lot of music. I just like the 90s music a lot. People call it the golden era. And sometimes my students, I teach some undergrad courses. So not in Columbia. I'm just a student at Columbia. I gotta change this background when I get a minute. I mean, give me a few minutes. I'm gonna change this background. But I like the old school. The old school is so it's the old school, and it's the old school. Like you can go back to Last Poets. I like Gil Scott Heron. Gil Scott Heron. That's my jam right there. And there's just so many right there. And then when I was making music for a long time, people were like, you got a certain vibe. You got a certain way that you do.
Right, with the
So,
But it is so EK.
so they were like, you got a certain thing that you do. And I was like, it's like a mid school. It's not the old school, and it's not the new school, and it's not the 2000s, right? Not the 2000s. And I want to see some other, but I don't want to disrespect anybody. But it's just the mid school. That's the style that I always choose and I always rhyme to is like that. It was the mid school, not the old school, not the mid school. And number two, in my research, I'm looking at, how academia is structured, how academia is interpreted, like how the way we think learning should be is understood. And my idea is that I want to focus on how I understand learning to be in terms of the hip hop community. So the mid school is also the idea of like a school, like a think tank. So you got these think tanks all over the world. So I wanted the mid school to be like a think tank where I can, and eventually have hip hop conferences. I want to have people publishing. I want to have, symposiums. I love the idea of a symposium. It's just so crazy. The symposium, as I understand it, after the talk and all the lectures and the teachings, then you have people just get together with the wine and the licks and just talk about what happened. And that was the symposium. So I want to understand how academia would look in terms of my understanding of hip hop besides the music. And that's the other angle on the mid school.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. Okay.
Can I ask you, Kareem, Mr. Kareem, can I call you Kareem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Kareem. You're the first person that I saw, because I think it was you. Just kept popping up on my feed. Instagram was like, yeah, you like this guy. This guy's music. You like this guy's music. You just kept popping up on my Instagram. And then next was David. Did you do something with David? Or that was Mr. T-Bear?
David is Love Enabled. That's the dude Love Enabled.
Yeah, that's Love Enabled.
Yeah. No, I didn't do anything with.
Nobody's done an
Must
actual
have been a
collab
reel.
with him yet.
He must have been on a reel
Yeah, he's been on
Oh,
Red.
the real? Okay.
with T-Bear.
He's been on
Okay.
both. He's been on both.
Oh
of them.
yeah, you. Yeah.
Okay. That's how I first came into to know the crew, so to speak.
Okay, that's dope. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I'm letting the well get back full again right now. Working on some music.
I liked
have-
whatever it was. The first one I liked, but it was just like the energy you came through with, and it was cool, man. I love the music you coming through with, man.
Boy, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. And I checked out your SoundCloud, and I was telling Pitchfork earlier, your music gave me the feel of Slum Village.
Okay.
It's just that it gave me that, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just chilling type vibe. Like
It's the hip hop that I refuse to let die.
yeah.
That is exactly what I got from listening to your SoundCloud. I was like, yo, this right here is the piece of the art that I refuse to let go of. It sounded familiar. It didn't sound dated, but it sounded familiar.
Right.
You know, it was like, it was easy for me to attach to and gravitate to because, oh shucks, I'm about to have to buy some equipment if I don't quit knocking stuff over.
Oh, no.
I done got excited. But yeah, it was just familiar, man. Like I said, when I listened to it, I instantly felt at home.
Much
You know what I mean?
respect. Much respect.
Yeah, so that was definitely dope.
Yeah, it was the melodies of your flows is what got me. You know, I was like, man, this dude is like really riding on, you know, you using your lyrics and your voice and stuff as an extra instrument to the beat. I'm like, okay, here we go. You know, we getting creative with it. It wasn't just straight rhyming. I'm like, all right, I feel this here.
Yo, what's good?
Respect.
Ace, what's going on, brother?
Man, finally made it on, man.
All right, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Good to see all
I'm
y'all.
still
man.
checking out your music, Tobias. So give me a moment. I'm checking it out. I'm checking it all out. But from what I heard, very fire. I like that the first one you have on the page. I forgot what the name of it is.
Well, Tobias and Rashid are both Black Mavericks. They just dropped an EP today with a named Daniel Pandemonium. Dope EP.
Look at the plug.
Check them out for sure, man. These dudes, that joint is. Oh, never mind.
I'm looking for it now.
These dudes are dope. They actually met. Well, I'll let them tell their own story, man. But I definitely don't want. If you want to check them out, they got quite a few projects out on
Tobias
Spotify.
Black.
More. Is that?
This is old, buddy. You don't want
Tobias Black, right?
Yeah, Tobias Black.
Yeah, that was fire. That's fire right there, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh,
Man, like
yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
like y'all saying, man. We just want to keep the hip hop culture alive, man. It's too much trash out there, man, and we got that energy and that spirit, you know, to keep it going, you know, keep that spirit of the boom bap alive, you know, just real music, you know what I'm saying? And I know I've been missing. I've been MIA for a little while, you know what I'm saying? Just a lot of stuff been happening. So I just want to let y'all know I'm always, you know what I'm saying, on it, you know what I'm saying? I'm there. I ain't gonna stop, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, things is just falling into place, man. So
Hey,
Can I ask you-
we
can I
know
ask you,
she's
Tobias,
always telling us, man.
how did you get into hip hop?
that's a funny story. So my uncle is really into hip hop. So when I was a kid, I used to always, because he used to have the boom box. He used to buy all his tapes and everything. I used to go in his room and sneak and listen to the music. And my grandparents, I used to stay with my grandparents. And my grandparents used to always, you know, get mad at me for listening to his music or whatever. So one Christmas, my uncle had bought he bought me a boombox, and he bought my first hip hop album, if you want to call it hip hop, which was Shaq Diesel. And it because the album didn't have no cursing in it, you know what I'm saying? So I was able to listen to it. So I'm Outstanding was my joint, you know what I'm saying? And then I went from Outstanding to I think the Biggie joint was on there too. You can't stop the rain. So I was introduced to hip hop like that. I was really introduced to Woo off Shaq album, because on that album he had the song with RZA and Meth.
No Hooks.
Yep, No Hooks. Yep.
Oh man, that was my joint. Yeah. And when I first heard the song, I'm like, yo, who is them? So yeah, so when I first heard No Hooks, you know what I'm saying, that's when I was trying to find out who that was. And I was asking my uncle about it. He was like, yo, they from this group called Wu-Tang. And Wu-Tang is my favorite. Everybody knows that's my favorite group ever, you know. So ever since that day.
I didn't know that.
And ever since that day, you know what I'm saying, I've been hooked on Wu. And that's how I got into hip hop, you know. So I went from Wu, then my favorite MC was Talib Kweli, and I went from Talib to Mos Def, and then, you know, Black Star. Then I was always like an East Coast dude. And then but my uncle, he showed me like a lot of like down south stuff, because he went to Jackson State. So he brought over you know, MJG, 8-Ball to me. What's the dude with the slow voice? The dude that he always make his voice real slow. Dang, what's the dude name?
Scarface?
Screw?
DJ Screw.
Oh,
yeah.
Screw. Okay, yeah. Screw music. Yeah. Okay.
Like they at Jackson State, like out there, Mississippi, they was all in the Screw. So he brought all that down south stuff to me. So that's basically how I got into hip hop, man. Was through Shaquille O'Neal first album.
Wow. Now that's a fun fact. That's interesting.
That's a gem.
That's a real funny story. Yeah.
You know that's going on the real, right?
Wow. Yeah. That's,
you got your intro to the reels
iconic.
right there, bro.
That was iconic. Yeah.
So, yo, I think Shaq hates that "You Can't Stay in the Rain" song. Yo, you can't stop the rain.
That's his best song.
I love that joint, man.
Yo,
I like that beat. I remember that beat.
I remember the beat. It may not be that song, but I remember. You know, I did the NBA and TNT when they came to Charlotte for the All-Star Weekend 2 years ago. I DJ'd that Saturday night joint for NBA on TNT. And, like the dude I was with, my man Vinny, when I got there, he was like, yo, Shaq said, do not play that song. I can't remember if it was You Can't Stop the Rain or another drink. Because I ended up playing the Fushnikins drink that had him on it.
I was going to ask you if that was the one.
Oh, man.
Nah, it wasn't the Fushnikins joint.
It
wasn't the Fushnikins joint. I ended up playing that joint, yo. You'd have thought I was playing. I was so disappointed in the fact that nobody knew what that song was.
That's the What's Up, Doc?
Yeah, what's up,
Can we
Doc?
rock?
Yeah.
What's up, Doc?
What's up,
Can
Doc?
we rock? Yeah.
That wasn't my standout song. My standout song was because I grew up without my pops. So I'm Outstanding. I always related to that song. You know what I'm saying? We talked about I'm Outstanding. No, it wasn't that one. It was my bad. My Biological. That song.
I remember that.
That song like always reached out to me because he talked about, you know, he wasn't with my biological didn't bother. So that's what, you know, got me into listening to Shaq basically, because I had to listen to Shaq because he had no cursing, but I always gravitated towards that song. And then it was I'm Outstanding, and then it went to No Hooks, and then the Biggie joint. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got that's how I got into it with that one. But it's just funny, man, with Shaq, man. Every time I tell somebody, they like Shaq.
Yeah. That's a crazy
I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah.
Especially to hear what you love, how you love rhyming, and what the music you love. Like for Shaq to be the on ramp, that's crazy.
You never know, though, right?
Yeah.
He was the gateway. Man.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
I'm looking forward to hearing this verse about that.
Oh yeah. I I wrote songs and verses, but that was a while ago, man. That was back when I was first starting, you know. So I'm gonna redo it again because I think I'm a little better than I was back then. So
yeah, that one joint you wrote to one of them beats I made. You was kind of hitting on that relationship though. What beat was that? Walk into the car or something like that.
oh yeah, stroll to the car.
Stroll to the car. Yeah. You kind of touching on some of that in that joint. I need to go listen to that again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm definitely I'm writing an origin story. Matter of fact, I started that song I was venting. That beat I was venting, Rashid, because that was like but I'm actually writing the origin story to Dragon's beat. He sent me.
Okay.
Actually, it's that one, the one with the one you sent me with the baby crying in the beginning.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm writing to that, so I'm almost finished with that. You know what I'm saying? So
nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, man. MidSkool, Columbia University. You got it behind you. I guess you want to give us a little background on you educationally, or career-wise, what you into?
Oh, I teach undergrad. I teach a little sociology, English, some other courses. My goal right now is to try to get my doctoral degree. Right now I'm in the process of working toward that. My goal in academia is to look at the different ways that hip hop can be understood in educational spaces, and that's pretty much it. And part of my project is the MidSkool, right? Looking at how can academia be understood outside of conventional understandings. For example, if I wanted to use this, I feel like all of you are academics of hip hop. You're all very, very knowledgeable. You have one person talking about Shaq, talking about different types of music, the different people in the music. We can all discuss like bars, who got the best bars, why do they got the bars? Because of the way they say it or how they say it, what they're saying, the topics. We're all academics, but if I do some of my research and I wanted to cite Rashid as an academic, they'd be like, no, he's not like an academic in the sense that we want, but I feel he is. So I'm just trying to look at that in different ways so that the people in my community don't have to have somebody else tell them that they're dope. Don't have to have somebody else accredit them. Oh, Tobias, you're not really an academic because this university didn't say so. You are already so dope. So that's what I want to work around.
I'm on the phone. I can't go get them right now, but
that's interesting. That's dope.
And I mentioned to Shah that eventually, I feel like when Kareem or Tobias or Rashid drop something dope, they're talking about things that are happening in the community. This is just like a research article, right? You talk about the background, what's going on, the things that are happening. You sometimes talk about solutions, the way it happened, the process of results. And I want you to publish that. Maybe you can publish it on MidSkool. So I'm looking at how MidSkool can be, in a conventional sense, a form of academia, as well as understanding hip hop as an academia and having it both, like having that both work together. That's what I'm looking at.
Indeed, man. One thing I'm learning, there's a lot of rappers and MCs out, right? But
a lot of rappers.
Lot of rappers.
Not too much MCs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But,
all right.
How do you distinguish rappers and MCs?
Oh, here we go.
Great question. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first. So
all right, have at it.
It's crazy. I just had this talk with my mentees because I got this group at my school. It's called Guitars Over Guns, when we teaching kids like getting into music and stuff like that.
So I gotta jump in. Sorry, I do an educational conference on hip hop, and I would love to be able to invite you to present on with this kind of project and explain to other people what you're doing, and possibly, get that grant money up on the way also. So it would be great to have that kind of conversation later. This is the kind of thing I want to do with MidSkool also. But
yes, sir.
Dope.
That is dope. But I think the difference between an MC and a rapper, anybody could rap, right? I think an MC embodies the hip hop culture, not just rapping. You know what I'm saying? They embody the full art and the history of it. MCs, it's an acronym, for master controller, master of ceremony. The MC controls the crowd. An MC could get on stage, and if all the microphones and the sound is all messed up, they can still captivate that crowd to get the crowd going. You know what I'm saying? Not saying a rapper can't do that, but I think the MC embodies the full culture of hip hop. A rapper could be like, I'm making this song, I'm trying to get on. I don't care who KRS-One is. I don't care who Big Daddy Kane is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get on. MC, like you said, like we got the knowledge in the school. They embody the full culture of it, so they know the history. They know who came before. They know who paved the way. You know what I'm saying? And they pay that respect. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. That's the difference with me between the rapper and the MC.
Yeah, I think even more basic than that, I think it has a lot to do with authenticity, man. And it's hard to question someone's authenticity, but if what you're talking about isn't authentic, and it's also not metaphoric. So you could talk about, for instance, subject matter that I would never talk about, right? There's a way to say, I'll shoot the whole block up and make it dope through metaphors, right? Then there's simply saying, I'll shoot the whole block up, which to me isn't creative at all. Now you could build up to that to get there through metaphors, but to me, the art of emceeing is being able to articulate a story or a vision clearly through your words. It's not as simply about being able to make two words rhyme. Like anybody can make two words rhyme. It's your ability to articulate again that story or that vision clearly through your words. That doesn't mean it has to be a story, but I should come away from listening to your verse with a feeling that I got where you were going. And again, I'm trying to keep that explanation kind of short, but to me, that's the difference. Anybody could say bat, cat, hat, rat, tat, tat, black, that doesn't mean anything to me. So, and not taking away from what you were saying, T-Bay, because I'm sorry, Alex, I think those are parts of it. But I, as much as I hate to admit this, I'm starting to learn now that you can be an MC without necessarily knowing who KRS-One is. You shouldn't, but it is possible. So, guys, I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight for admitting that on camera. But
yeah, we gotta record it too. We're gonna pass this.
Yeah, right. But I think I'm starting to understand that you just have to accept that things are slightly different. Where we were interested in understanding where X or Y came from.
Honestly, I think it's a little less. I think it's simple as intention. An MC wants to challenge himself. He wants to do something artistic to fulfill himself internally. And I think a rapper is just somebody that's trying to get money with the skills, to be honest.
That's fair. Kind of authenticity, right? That's kind of where I was. Okay, where I was.
Yeah, that's I.
Agreement.
I'm on the same page because I kind of like feel like a rapper is just the technical. It's just what we all rap. So it's just the technical of writing a rhyme. So that's the rap of it. The MC of it is the feeling that you bring to it. Is how you manifest what you wrote. So if it's fake, then you're acting. When you manifest, you so it's gonna come off fake. So that's, you know, like that, like it's a feeling for me. Like I always say, it's just a feeling. Like I can hear somebody one time and I can tell, like I can just tell, yo. But like, yeah, the MC rocks the crowd though. The MC, like my man Tobias was saying, the beat can go out, like nothing can stop you from getting off, because that's what you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not worrying it. Like, if you mess up, you'll just pick it right up.
Which is why I have KRS on Sunday, by the way. I'm just going on record.
We're going to blank that.
Oh, yeah, me too.
We not doing that right now, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You talk about the verses.
The
man.
verses.
Yeah, KRS versus Kane.
Yo, who got who on this one?
No,
I'm going with KRS. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I'm saying gun to my head, I gotta pick KRS, yo. Like I got to, like,
just because I know how KRS gets down live.
That's the only reason,
he got a
yo.
Stronger way of controlling the crowd.
But Big Daddy,
Kane
see,
got
I
routine
can't
shit, but
Big Daddy Kane got routines too, though.
no, so I said Kane got routines.
Yeah, Kane got and he gonna dance on you too.
That's why if
He's
Kane,
gonna dance on you,
if Scoob and Scrap are there, it gets way more interesting, yo. Because
man, Juice Crew gonna pop up, yo. You know this.
Yo,
if Juice Crew pops up,
I'll refine that video of Kane recent, a few years ago, that showing he did out in Russia. I'll refine it.
I know the one you're talking about. With the
I'm not sleeping on Kane. I'm not sleeping on Kane at all. Like the cast that's saying it's gonna be a wash. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
No, it ain't gonna be no wash. Nah,
it's not. It's gonna be good.
Like that.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be great, and I think it's gonna be a kind of like Snoop and DMX, kind of like a love fest.
Yeah,
but with not taking anything away from Snoop or DMX, just a different level of MCs, yo.
I'm saying after the locks, after Jadakiss, I'm expecting KRS to bust something out. I'm expecting Big Daddy Kane to let loose. Like that's like I want to hear the songs, but I want to hear like a freestyle. I'm looking forward to.
That's what I'm in it for.
Yeah. I might grill out, man. I'm thinking about
if Chris doesn't go off the top at least one time, I would be in utter shock. Every time I've seen him, he's gone bananas, and he is pointing out stuff in the crowd to make sure you know it's off the dome, yo.
Yeah,
like,
he came
when Mint Condition, Girl You Send Me Swinging was out, I saw him at Rutgers, yo. And I'll never forget, he was just rocking. He was like, something, oh, he said, Chris will send you swinging. Bro, I fell out, yo. Like, yeah, yo. I'm not saying it's going to be a wash, but my money's on Chris.
Yeah, I've never seen Big Daddy. I never seen Kane live, but I've seen KRS-One. He came to Rock the Bells in Chicago one time, and I saw him and Supernatural was on stage freestyling together. That was cold, man. So,
Supernatural, man.
I gotta just say, if I'm gonna say something, I have never seen KRS-One lose at anything in hip hop. I have never seen him lose anything in hip hop. And a matter of fact, they're friends, right? They're friends. Yeah. So it's a different dynamic. But if you're not friends, that's a career killer right there. That's a person who could end your money. So you gotta give much respect to KRS-One.
Yeah. And I mean, It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna
That's
be
all.
dope.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be another one. It was just like the early ones, the Preem and RZA joints. It's just gonna be a joint where hip hop wins. This ain't gonna be a one over the
don't bring
other.
that Preem and RZA up, yo. Cause I was mad. I was mad with RZA, man. Like I was mad with RZA that night, man. Like, come on, man. Get your sound right, man. Get your sound. RZA, Razor Sharp.
It was early in the beginning, though.
They was the pilot. They was the pilot.
I mean, that's my man.
Person.
That's my man now.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted, but damn, I was mad, yo.
I just want to say officially, I respect RZA in all his efforts.
Oh. Hey, I don't want no problems, yo.
Let me just say that I respect his, I much appreciate his contributions to hip hop. I think he's dope. All his efforts I respect. That's what I want to say.
I gotta say this though, man. I'll say I thought Preem was gonna blow RZA out the water. I was actually surprised. RZA had a lot more joints.
Yes, sir.
That he came with than I remembered, and I felt bad because I thought I was completely wrong. RZA put up a damn good fight with Bad Tech. I was like, yo, I slept on the brother, man. I felt horrible for that.
Yo, I'm the same way, yo. I can't even lie. I was like, why are they even doing this?
Yeah.
And then like watching, I was like, I forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I gotta just say, I think like RZA is one of the most under, like people don't respect what he's done and the stuff that he dropped.
Yeah.
Bobby Digital?
He dropped a lot. I remember he used to do that thing with the magic and the whatever, the horror rap. You remember this?
Yeah, Grave
Diggers.
Yeah, the Grave Diggers, like the Grave Diggers. He did stuff with, obviously with Wu-Tang. He is, and he's not afraid. He's not afraid. Like whoever you are, he has utmost belief in himself, and he's coming at you. If you really want to, whatever you want to do, he's coming. So for me, he represents hip hop very, very well, and I think he's just, people don't value him as much as they should. But yeah, I think he's dope.
I think he took a lot of heat because running a whole crew like that, there's bound to be somebody disgruntled. So, and since all that disgruntled talk made it to the public eye, I think that kind of took away from the greatness in the public eye. But I
was about to say,
regrow more respect for him because he took all those lumps and still kept giving you more shit.
He's he's just consistent. Like that's what I like about him. Like you could tell as time goes on, the artist, because he's still doing it. He's scoring movies, producing movies, directing movies now. So yeah, like the music is a great catapult to a lot of different things when you're artistic, I guess, But RZA has always been my guy, man.
And I like, cause and the reason why I be saying RZA is like one of the dopest MCs, especially for dopest producer and MC, is because you could notice when a clan member leaves his sound. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. RZA made classics for each clan member. Only Built for Killer Links, classic. Only Built for Killer Links 2, classic. Immobilarity, nah.
was he on Cuban Links too? I don't think RZA had any tracks on there, did he?
He had some tracks on there.
Okay, I
had tracks on there.
Okay.
Immobilarity, nah. Then you got Tikal, classic. You know what I'm saying? And then Tikal 2 was meh, but then he started steering away from RZA, and then his Method Man albums just went blah. You know what I'm saying? You can just tell when they get away from RZA. That's the thing with me. When they start trying to fool other producers and losing that Wu sound, you know what I'm saying? It's a big jump. You know what I'm saying? RZA just got that. He just got that mindset, man. And he played Tetris with the clan. Like watching the show, it gives me more appreciation, man. I think I'm probably one of the biggest Wu fans ever. You know what I'm saying? And watching that show is like me, like a Marvel comic nerd that's really into the comics, watching
watching the Marvel shows. You know what I'm saying? Like they catching all the Easter eggs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching this show, just catching everything. You know what I'm saying? And still learning and appreciating how he played Tetris with the clan, man, because he foresaw it. Like, yo, I got this beat is for Raekwon. Y'all not getting on this one. This beat is for Meth. Like, that was so dope to me, man, how he composed it, dude. And just hearing us, like, going back and hearing the songs, it was like, yo, he made the best decisions, man, because the way he placed it, dude, like, the songs are classics. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't take them away from him. That's my
Let me ask you this, yo, Kareem, you kind of hit on it with him going to like getting into scoring movies and directing movies and things of that sort. At one point in time, that was kind of frowned upon. So what do we have we gotten to the point now where we've learned to accept that growth from our heroes?
What, like scoring movies?
Just like stepping outside of what we would call the traditional box of hip hop, right? Like early on, and again, this might be me having to come to Jesus moment with myself, right? But early on, like, you know, Kane, even though Kane probably took it way further than most people would, you know, think about Kane, right? Kane hit that bigger than hip hop moment. It started to expand, and his credibility was like,
That Taste the Chocolate album lost me. Like, that one lost me, yo. I love
Madonna Playboy shoot that did it to him.
Yeah, like all that sexiness. Like, it's cool to be sexy, but I mean, like, nah, man. Like, just he lost me on that one, yo. Like,
right, but now, 30 years later, right? The same kind of thing plays out. Would we be more open to it now than maybe we were in 1992-ish?
Yeah.
If he made that Taste of Chocolate, I still think it's trash.
Like, I don't think Taste of Chocolate. I'm trying to think of what was on Taste of Chocolate.
I wanted to say that I respect Big Daddy Kane a lot. His contributions to hip hop are immeasurable. Ain't no high stepping.
Word, man.
Yo, but that's exactly.
We gotta call it both
that's
ways.
why I'm asking that, because again, like I used to be rigid, yo. Like, what you mean you thinking about doing something outside of this? Nah, that ain't how we play over here, yo.
So
you here or you ain't. You know what I mean? Like,
so can I
there
just
is no gray area.
Can I mention, like, I feel like we all talk about how hip hop is a culture. And we always say it's a culture, it's a culture. Even when we talked about the MC, what I was hearing was that rappers, you can rap like, I think it was Kareem that said that, I believe, that rap is like it's a skill. You can play an orchestra and you can rap. You can play all types of music and you can do the rap. Or you can sing and you can sing, or you can rap, you can do whatever. But the culture behind it is what makes it hip hop. And I was talking to Shah Pitchfork before and talking about how, like, I'm trying my best to, like, you know, just do professor talk and professor clothes. But when I go to work, people still like, yo, do you do music? I'm like, why do you say that? It's something about, like, how all of us walk and talk and just exist. That's hip hop culture. And then when you talk about now that we clearly know that it's a hip hop culture, and you talk about like MCs, I feel like MCs, what I was hearing from everybody was that MCs embody the culture. Even if it's like you said, like controlling the crowd, I feel like it's like connecting to the crowd and connecting to all the things that we have done. We know that we came here for a certain kind of energy and to move and to connect. And then your MCs knows that it's a culture there, and they know how to string, like they play that string for the culture and connect. And then also when you think about hip hop, like it's a culture. So you look at, you know, all the other cultures have writing, they have music, they have museums, they have architecture. So the idea of expanding, I think that's what we need to do. However, when you expand and just it's about me expanding, and just like I'm expanding, but the connection to the culture is not readily available to everybody. And then we might say, you expanding, that might be not what I want to hear, because you expanded, but I don't feel the connection to what we've been doing. But on the other hand, you don't want to necessarily just regurgitate and do the same thing, and that's that balance. So when Big Daddy Kane did that, he was trying to expand, but some of us didn't necessarily, feel the connection to the hip hop culture. I myself preferred his first album, but I respect everything he did.
And no argument. And my only question again though is, today, would his decline be as rapid, or would it be more acceptable? I think our growth, our development, our maturing has allowed us to accept things outside of that box from our heroes, right? And that was my only, like, because when Kareem was talking, I was like, yo, in like 90, 91, like I'll argue with you about hip hop all day, but any other music, I'm like, yo, if you like it, you like it. Cool. If you tell me that's R&B, it's R&B.
Yep.
If you tell me that's jazz, it's jazz. Hip hop, nah, no, you can't have that. That's not hip hop. This is hip hop. That's not hip. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that rigidity is not necessarily the same as it was then. Like I've matured to the point where I can accept some things that I may not have thought were. But Alex will tell you, get me to agree to hop on a beat sometimes is like, I know he's like, man, if you would just write a doggone rhyme and shut up, because like seriously, I'm like, I don't know if this is really in my wheelhouse. This don't really move me like I needed to. But again, I think I've matured beyond that. Even like again, like the RZA joint, or even the Primo joint he was doing on VH1. Like I was like, this is all good for the big picture. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I was really looking at the big picture 30 years ago.
And I think it was different then because I'll just be honest. I keep it kind of honest. The beats were whack, man. On that whatever it's called.
Let me look this album up, yo.
I'm gonna listen to it again, but
because
Kane has never been whack. It's just the beats that was selected for that album were whack.
Kane is never whack. Kane is never whack.
Kane is never whack.
Yeah, he's never been whack. It's just a bad selection. I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to expand and get a different audience. Yeah. It was just wrong selection. It was what kind of killed it was also New Jack Swing was popping around that time. So I think he tried to pull some of the New Jack Swingy type hybrid beats, and it just didn't work.
Well, no, he did a lot.
I get the job
New
done.
Jack Swing. Yeah,
I get the job done was New Jack.
Yeah, that was Teddy Riley. That ain't you can't get no more New Jack than that.
I'm on the fence with that one. I give it up.
It sounded like he was on his Electric Circus.
Hey man, I remember hunching on some girls at the school dance to that song, so I always like that. I get the job done, baby. I work. Yeah.
Nah.
All right, y'all might be right, yo. I'm looking at this track like, I don't really remember a lot of this stuff. All right, I might stand corrected.
The album cover threw me off. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I remember Big Daddy versus Dolomite.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That was creative. I like that.
Yo, yeah. I'm looking at this joint now. Like, y'all might be right, yo. Yeah. All right. I stand corrected. This is not the album I was thinking about.
I mean, you can jump in the whip, take a ride with it, and let us know how you feel about it tomorrow.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
I respect Big Daddy Kane very much. I want to just say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I think he's an icon in hip hop. I will say that was not one of the albums that was in part of my playlist.
Okay, so can we have a discussion real quick?
Oh shit.
Who had the best verse on Symphony?
Oh,
Kane. I give it to Kane. Just because
Symphony?
ass.
Oh,
You know what?
G-Rap.
I don't know if it's the
Paulie
best
gives a
verse.
slice. I get nice and my voice is twice as horrifying as Vincent Price.
Price.
Goes deep. See you fell in the fell in my sleep while you count your money. While I'm
Count
counting money, you
sheep.
count sheep. When G-Rap strikes the mic, I recite the type. No, bruh. G-Rap, yo.
G-Rap.
But that's
G-Rap.
why I asked. That's why
G-Rap.
I asked. That is why I asked.
I got. I love G-Rap, so you know that maybe I'm biased, but G-Rap for me.
But not more lights in the fight than Con Edison. What? What? Yeah, G-Rap, yo. But that's why I asked. I kind of thought we might have a bit of a draw there.
Between
The Kane's verse wasn't whack.
Who else is calling what? I only heard 3 people speak up. Which
See, like I'm not. I gotta. Like y'all, I need to. At the time, I'm going with who at the time. Like I can't remember everybody's verse right now. I'm trying to recall right now, but at that time, my guy was Master Ace, yo.
Master Ace
backstory.
He got bars. I like.
Ace.
So
The story of
I'm
how
like,
he got on
yeah.
that song is dope too.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Brownsville.
Story
Shout
about how
out to
he made
Brownsville.
Kane and G-Rap like, oh, this dude can rhyme, and made
Yeah.
them pens, yeah.
But see,
So,
I
yeah.
was biased because my last name Austin. So as soon as he said, once you hear the capital A, rappers can stay,
stay.
I was done because we talking about the capital A.
Yo,
Kane
now
and
that
G-Rap
just
used
goes
to
to
call
show
him
my
Glasses,
arrogance.
too.
That just goes to show my arrogance because I immediately assumed we would all agree that it was between Kane and G-Rap.
Wow.
So, but not.
Yeah.
But Ace, you're right.
Yes.
Ace really bombed it. Ace bombed it.
Oh yeah.
And
he
Ace
set it
got
up.
on there because he just happened to be in the studio, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And he was actually supposed to just be warming up the studio. Something to that effect, yo. And it was like, yo, his
Marley
verse is
asked them
so
to get
dope.
on, and they're like, we ain't rocking with glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Master Ace,
Yeah.
man, his secret weapon. Setting it
so-
off, letting it off, yeah.
Oh, here we go. We got lyrics. All right, now we can find out for sure. Let's see who
Like a bottle of juice, rhymes are being poured down your ear, crisp and clear as I appear, mid in the smeared and out of there with a mark left. You can all claim, because rocking the party was a small thing.
Small thing,
Yeah, yo.
Places.
Yeah, yo.
Places. Yeah.
Broke down Mike, the only traces that I've been there. Mike had my prints and on it was a body. So take caution. I'm not horsing around in the throwdown sound. I'm taking yours, son.
Man, that's a classic record, man.
Mm-hmm.
But that verse still ain't better than G-Rap's. In my
Yo,
opinion.
Sheed, I think you're right, bro. Just looking at the rhymes. Yeah, you got the win, bro. You right.
Yeah, and that's not to take anything away from anybody else on that track, yo. Because at the time, I was like, you Kane all day. There's got to be Kane just because it's Kane. And then when I went back and really dissected the verse, I was like, yo.
Yeah, but see,
G-Rap
that joint set the bar for posse cuts though. So now every time you go in on a posse cut, that's the first thing you doing. Who had the dopest rhyme?
True.
It,
I
it
buy
set
that.
the bar.
Yeah, and
I
it's
buy that.
subjective. It's subjective.
Oh yeah, I don't know that there's a right answer except
No.
G-Rap. But I mean, if
See,
you
there
disagree
you go,
with that, if you disagree with that, I guess I can understand. But we could all agree that it's G-Rap. But outside of that, you got a different choice, I guess. So let me ask you, MidSkool. So how do you incorporate hip hop into any of your teaching? I think you said you teach a psychology class.
Sociology.
Sociology class.
Language
Okay.
and culture. Yeah.
So do you have an opportunity to incorporate any, especially maybe in the sociology class, you have an opportunity to incorporate any
Yeah, I do.
classics? Okay.
I do. But one of the key things that I focus on is that when you're incorporating hip hop into the class, it's not just like the music. So knowledge itself, I think, is important. For example,
Word.
I think it's important that when you're taking something that you're teaching, that you build upon what it is that the people are trying to do. So, for example, like when I teach, I'm trying to like understand where my students are coming from and meet them halfway in terms of respecting what they bring to the classroom. So
Okay,
like,
word.
so the theories of how to go about it is one way that I really incorporate hip hop. When people say things, for example, another thing is I'm just, I don't know how long I'll be teaching because I'm just too real sometimes, but I want to be authentic in how I say things. So, you know,
MC.
sometimes, yeah, and connecting to the culture. I think like, and I also, two more things. One is that like, for example, I'm authentic. I think that's important. Like you said before, authenticity is important. I may have a student, my students from all over the world. They may say something like, you know, they might curse at me or say like the N word, and then I gotta like stop the whole class. And you got let's talk about this and like understand it in a way where we can build upon this and not just like try to isolate you. Another thing is that I've done music like all over the world. So I I lived in Brazil for a few years. I lived in where else? Thailand, Japan for a few years. So in all these different places, people speak different languages, have different cultures, but there's the hip hopness that is there. So these are the things that I put into the class when I teach, and I feel like there's other aspects of hip hop besides just the music, and I do include them for sure. And part of my research is to find out what are these other aspects of hip hop that can be understood besides playing the music.
So
Knowledge itself is important.
yeah. So before anybody else go in, so what all when you talking about the different parts of hip hop you teach? I mean, are you teaching the other elements? You teaching b-boy stuff? You teaching graffiti? You know,
Okay.
are you teaching any of these things?
So for me, I would say that I don't teach hip hop in the classes I do now, but I use hip hop culture as a basis for everything that I do to teach.
Okay.
So for example, let's say I'm in a community and I'm teaching something, and you know, very often you go to a classroom, everyone sits at a desk, the desks are arranged in certain places. I don't arrange the desks that way. Another way would be if we're teaching a certain topic, I incorporate the idea of freestyling, right? Of having people really articulate who they are, not trying to tell them what is right or wrong, and then from whatever they say, we try to build upon it. Very quick example: we're doing I have a writing class. So for my writing class, the first thing I tell them is that, so my students is that I ask them, what is writing? And typically people will say like this is writing. And I tell them, no, that's not writing. Writing is the articulation of thought. Number two, writing is like finding out what it is you think in response to what it is that you're seeing. So there's a whole lot of writing before you ever touch the pencil, the paper, or the computer. Or like that. So it's like a whole like that. And then my last class, I had them all just deconstruct Beyonce's visual album. So that was the assignment. I gave each person a song and had them think about what it is. What do you think is happening there? What does it make you feel? What do you think that she's doing? And we had this whole conversation. And by the time we had this conversation, everyone talked about it and they're arguing, I'm like, just write that down. So when I say I use hip hop, I mean that the process and how we do things in hip hop. Like if we were all to make a song, there's a certain way to do it and to make a song where I'm not trying to be didactic and tell you what to do or tell you what to do. There's a way that we can make a song that you know is comfortable. Those processes that we use to make songs, for example, I use those in my classroom. If that makes any sense.
Actually, it does.
Yeah, that's dope.
Makes perfect sense, man.
That's an interesting perspective, yeah.
That's why I feel like everybody here, you guys all just epitomizing hip hop in so many ways. I'm looking at it, and for example, one person speaking, and the other be like, "Oh, my bad, my bad. Let me pull back for a second. Let you speak." There's a way to do things that we know is respectful, and there's no rules, but we know it. And these rules and these ways of being and these processes, those kinds of ways of being and processes, if they're in school, how much more comfortable would we be? How much more could we learn if our ideas were respected? How much more could we learn if people weren't trying to tell us who we are and instead listen to what we say we are? One more example is in my sociology book in the first unit, they're like, at the end is a quiz. And in the quiz, it's like, okay, so dominant culture, dominated culture. So please answer, are you part of the dominated culture or the dominating culture? Whoa, wow, okay. So me with knowledge of self and critical thinking, I had to not accept what the book said, talk to my students and see how do you feel with the book telling you you're part of a dominated culture. How do you feel if you were part of the so-called dominating culture and your books told you all this all your life, and then you saw somebody who was part of the so-called dominated culture? How would that make you feel and think? So it's a process of knowledge itself, of critical thinking, of thinking about how things work in the hip-hop community and articulating all of this in the classroom. And you can have a lot of this without ever having any music.
Yo, so that's so. I tend to look at things on a very simplistic level when it's convenient. So that dominating versus dominated.
Oh man.
Does that ever play itself out in discussions where someone who may think they are the dominant suddenly realizes that if I don't shut the hell up, I might get dominated here pretty quickly? Or does it not really get that far in the classroom? Like when you, again, to make that pretty simple to me, it's simply kind of, dog eat dog world, big fish, little fish, right? So if I've been told all my life, like athletes, you might be the man in your elementary school. When you get to middle school, the competition's a little different. When you get to high school, now you're playing against the best people in your city. I could hoop in high school. When you get to college, now you're playing against the best people in the country and more today, even around the world. All of a sudden, the pond's bigger and you realize that, you're not even a little fish, you're like a guppy. So does that realization ever happen in class?
With my students?
Yeah.
So most of my students are international or black and brown people.
Okay.
So very often it's like we just deconstructing how the system affects us and our responses to it. But I have had one or two students when we talk about it, they think about it and they really have to pause for a second. Some students are very still new to the idea, right? They're still new to the idea, and they might sometimes say, I don't really like this. Why are you telling me this? I didn't come to this class for this kind of thing. I refer them to the syllabus we're doing is critical thinking. But yes, it does happen sometimes that some people are not. But normally, I would say 99% of the time, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to think. This is not what I do. All I want to know is tell me what you think and just tell me why and just make it make sense. And that process, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just want to say that process in itself very often is just refreshing, and that brings them to a point of reflection. It's like the Columbo. What's Columbo? That was his name. The detective back in the day.
Yeah, Columbo.
Yeah, he never told anybody anything. He just asked questions, and you got to see it for yourself, and you just like, bow, 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 wow, like
That's
that.
funny you would say that because that's one of my rap styles. I ask questions in rhymes. I ask questions not to they're rhetorical sometimes, but a lot of times they're just provocative. I say it I want somebody to ask themselves that question that I ask, just to spark it, So it's funny you would say that, because yeah.
But that's also a part of hip hop, right? That I call a spade a spade. I say it every time. Shaw sent me Kareem's verse for Butterscotch Linens. I was like, oh, this is what we doing? Alex has sent me a verse, and so I'm like, oh, you wanted to go there, bro? Okay. Now I really got to sit down and write. You know what I mean? Because it is that kind of healthy competition. You know what I'm saying? And
For sure.
You want Kane, G-Rap, Master 8. Like, you, in that discussion, whether it's spoken or not, you want to be like, yo, I think I had the hottest verse on that. But yo, I know he bombed me on that joint. I'm like, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I was going with that. But yeah, that's dope, man.
And I like this. This I think it's so dope that you ask questions. This is some track that I got on the SoundCloud. It's Damn Rappers, and in that one is like kind of questioning the whole status quo of why people hate on us just because we're rappers. For a long time. Yeah.
That's the one where the no money. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but I know exactly which one you're talking about. I think I listened to that joint like 2 or 3 times. I really like that song, man.
Oh, there's a song that's like, as a rapper, you could never work for me. That's what some say when I go to interviews and meetings. I can't stop now. If I do, I'll never win. Because the rap is not the wrong thing, and it's never been. And it started out like just like that kind of this idea of like, just let me be myself. I'm going on this thing. Go to the interview. When I get to the interview, then this is discussion between the 3 rappers on the song. And like what you said, Kareem, made me think about that. Like question, answer, question, answer. That would be dope actually to see you do that one day. We could do that one day. You put some questions like da 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 da. I'm like, really? Why? Da da da. Okay. Let me talk about this though. We gotta do this one day.
Support. I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
Or I gotta just put it out there. I've been wanting to do like a Damn Rappers 2. And think about it. Yes.
Support. I'm in.
No, yeah, you don't gotta ask me, bro. You gotta do is say the word, like.
And it would be a conversation. It'll be like, what? Da da da. Okay, what about that? And we go back and forth. It would be, I have to like maybe on wherever the social media, I put a verse. You respond to that verse. I put a verse. Kareem do the verse, and it'll be like a conversation.
Yo, so it's funny you mentioned that because Alex and I owe a verse for a song, and that's kind of how we were going to approach it. Was a conversation, and it was actually going to be a little more probably inflammatory. I won't even. Well, I think everybody on here knows already, but we were going to be talking about it from either a kind of pro-mask, pro-vax, or anti-mask, anti-vax perspective. You know what I'm saying? We really got to knock that out. But it conceptually is dope. We haven't had an opportunity to sit down yet and kind of map it out. But actually, on the end of in the Honey Jazz, we kind of did like that, where it was kind of conversational. But yeah, I'm definitely with it. I'm with it.
It's a dope concept. And you said you were talking about starting it on Reels. Is that how I heard you say?
Well, I mean, because we're all in different places, it could be just when I do it, I would record something, da 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 da, send it to you, you record the next part, send it to the other person, record the next part. Then we got the whole thing recorded, and then we just put the vocals to whoever's the vocal master person, and there we go. But back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Record something, you go like that.
That's dope. So
yeah, I like it. I like that.
She, didn't you have a concept like that for a beat too? You talking about the whole crew kind of having a conversation back and forth?
Yeah, I remember seeing something like that.
Yeah,
Easter egg alpha or something like that, right?
Yeah, I forget what beat it was, but yeah, that was definitely something that I suggested. Because I think we're all like-minded enough to be able to get that off. I don't think everybody could really do that, but I think like, you know, having written with Alex like in a sit-down writing session, you know, and then like the day Kareem and I spent together, it was like we knew each other for 100 years, yo. Like it was just like, you know, it just kind of clicked. So I think we could get something like that off and have it feel conversational as opposed to they made this song to feel like this. It's like, yo, this was natural and it turned into a song.
Definitely. Yeah, man. Cause I used to, when I was younger, my style was more, I think I was more competitive when I was younger. It's like now, man, like I'm just writing what I'm thinking. Like I'm not really digging too hard, yo. Like, especially on something like that, a song like that comes easy just from the subject matter. You know, it'll come from the answer to the question. So I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
That's gonna be dope.
Oh, so some of your time overseas, man. You want to share some details with the crew with your time overseas, especially Japan? Is Japan where you spent the most time?
Yeah, Japan is the most in Japan. Love Japan. Love and Able, David. A lot of experiences with him. The crew. Shout outs Life Pencil crew. Shout outs to Okizu. Josh Fury. Shout outs everybody. So many, 3,000. Yeah, we had like a small community when we were there, and I think I mentioned to you before, Pitchfork. We first got there, we just used to attack every open mic there was out there. We would attack and we were working like, full time. So I would just meet up with David and my homie Soch, and we would just go there like, it would always be like 10 o'clock at night. The trains in Tokyo end at 12:30. So when you miss the last train, you're there until 6 o'clock. So we would just somehow get the alcohol, open mics, just go all over Tokyo, just whatever. I have my I have a longboard. So I'm always like longboarding everywhere. All over the world, I longboard. I'm longboarding everywhere.
Okay.
And we used to go everywhere. And that's, and a little bit, like you said, like my way of rapping, so to speak, is because number one, the open mics. I did a lot of open mics there. We would shut places down until they just started banning hip hop, because we just open mics everywhere. Number two, I had a jazz band. So I had a jazz band in Tokyo for a few years, and that affected it a lot. I feel like whenever I rap, I want to be able to like sit there with my raps and be like, and talk to you. So that song, for example, I'm like, Mr. T Bear, as a rapper, you could never work for me. That's what some say. So I want to be able to speak to you in your face. And also, because it's a second language, being over there, I had to be able to like communicate to people, and that affected it a lot. I wanted to say, yeah, I love Tokyo. I was there for many, many years, made many albums. I also was in Thailand for a while. I was in Hong Kong. I lived in Brazil. It's so amazing. I was in Brazil. They have the hip hop in Brazil is incredible. I have one song I'll try to share with you guys later. It's Japanese, Portuguese, and is in English, and we all just spit in knowledge of self about how we can uplift the community. But yes, I was mostly in Japan, and that was incredible.
So the MCs, is it somebody rhyming in Japanese, someone rhyming in Portuguese, and then in English as well?
Oh, that track, yeah, that track. Oh
Yo,
man,
that sounds
when I was there, you know, like I met up with this one crew called Okizu. Shout outs to the Okizu, much respect. And I have my own crew, and my crew was me. I'm from New York City. My homie is from Tokyo, and obviously I'm rapping in English. He raps in Japanese, and we made like 3 or 4 albums while we was over there, and hooked up the Okizu. We had like a lot of tracks with the two crews together. David had his homies. I had, so it was like 4 or 5 crews, and we all just intersected a lot, and it was powerful, yeah.
So
And that one was Mr. Bob X from Brazil, dope MC. He now teaches hip hop in Rio de Janeiro. So yeah, but I was gonna say, yeah, we did songs with people from Czechoslovakia, Denmark, Finland, Brazil, Tanzania, of course England, Scotland, like from all over the world. So we have songs from like all over the world, and it's amazing energy. That's what I want to say. Korea, of course, a lot of music from Japan, and the key thing is that real recognize real, and people weren't trying to like make the pop music, so to speak. We just made the music that we felt like making.
So was the process of like communing and connecting with other MCs, do you think that's easier overseas, or you think it's just the same no matter where you're at?
Well, in New York, we all know, like in New York, if you're from New York and you rap, I don't care how nice you are, people don't want to hear you really. They don't want to hear you. You got to go out of New York and then get a little noise, and then people, and then you got to come back. This is my feeling. New York people are like, you rapping? My homie rap. So I can be on that stage. But I get on to say that New York has a beautiful hip hop energy, right? It's beautiful hip hop energy, and it's great, and it is easy to make hip hop in New York. Equally, overseas, when you meet people, there's like a vibe, like the way you dress and the way you talk. There's a talk, like who you like. Oh, word, Alcoholics. What about King T? All right, MF Doom. Like a little test, like a hip hop test.
Right. Yeah.
A pass any kind of hip hop test. I say the fresh rhymes with the funky, fresh lyrics, and it's always happening. And then there's like a mutual energy there. Everywhere I go, I ball. I'm not that great, but I ball, and I do hip hop, and it's always meeting people, and the energy is there. The real recognize the real.
Word.
Yeah, that's dope. And I think it's funny because, like, I'm from Jersey. I'm in Charlotte now. But it's like a little joint that happens here once a month called Sounds of 16s that I've kind of forced myself to start going to. And it's wild because I think everywhere you go, people feel that same way. You never kind of get your recognition in wherever you are. You kind of have to build it outside of that and then come back. So it's kind of funny to hear you say that about New York. Yeah, I think people kind of feel that way everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you put some information about the Sounds of 16 one day, somewhere?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll actually share a flyer. It sounds and A-N-D 16. Yeah, sounds and 16. But yeah, and it's dope because actually is a producer named Master Key, that's from Charlotte. And I almost hate to say it, but it has to be said. She's a female producer, but she kind of curates. So what it is, they have a artist perform each session, and then they have 2 or 3 producers or beat makers come through and play their beats, and then like there's MCs, singers, whoever's in the crowd that wants to hop on the mic, they just kind of come up, and it turns into this real-time cipher on beats from these local producers. And Master Key is actually the person that kind of commandeers the producers, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, this is not in Jersey.
Nah, I'm in Charlotte now. Yeah. So it's kind of dope.
Can we visit one day to the Sounds 16?
The door is open, fam. It's it's usually the last Thursday of the month. But on occasion they'll move it if there's something happening. But the door is open, fam. So yeah.
Can I ask what is felt here? What do you think about hip hop in other cities? In terms of, do you think it's like it's a different thing? Do you feel some of it? Do you you want to know more about it?
I'll start. I used to be, you might be picking up on this. I used to be horrible as far as listening to people that weren't from the tri-state. If you weren't from Philly, Jersey, or New York, you wasn't making it. It's not possible that you can be making hip hop. How is that possible if you're not from the tri-state? So I was at Syracuse.
I want to just say I respect all music from all over West Coast, down south. I think it's all good.
I'm gonna get there. So my senior year in high school, my man Raj had Eazy-E's tape, and somehow it ended up in my car. And I took it in the house one day, and like I was listening to it, getting ready for school one morning. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I kind of feel this, but he ain't really spit. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't really about the spitting as much as it was from him as it was the energy and kind of just that aggression. But I didn't really understand it then. I'm a Big Daddy Kane, G-Rap, Philly Cats, the tough crew out of Camden, New Jersey. So I'm looking for lyrics, right? I get to Syracuse. I'll walk into the day room one day, and Common Soul by the Pound remix comes on whatever the hip hop video show was in like '93. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, who is this dude? In part because I had just wrote a rhyme that kind of had some kind of singy parts to the jingle, like I am about to explode, whoa, whoa, whoa. But he was doing it way better than I did. But I'm like, yo, who is this dude? And then like I learned he's from Chicago. I'm like, all right, so there's clearly flavor in the shop. But as recent as like 2007, 2006, I was in the car with my brother, and he put Little Brother on. And I was like, they're from North Carolina. There's no reason for me to listen to them. I'm not proud of any of this, by the way. This is like amnesty hour. You know, I'm coming clean. I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong. I missed a lot of good hip hop like this. I get it. But he put on, what album was it? It had to be Good Clothes was the song, right? And I'm like, yo, who are these dudes? And he's like, yo, this is Little Brother. I'm like, what? And this is right around the same time Fonte was on the BET cipher and ripped it. So I'm like, all right, clearly my approach to this is not working. Now I was down, like I'm a Big Licks fan. I was down with Hyro, so I had expanded by this point in time. But I say all that to say I've come to learn that there are dope MCs and dope music being made everywhere, right? And it was a little harder to find in the 80s and 90s than it is now. But I've come to realize it's a dude here. It's a dude here that's dope. Actually, this dude named Cleasy who freestyles out of this world, yo. He did like a 3-minute freestyle at the last Sounds of 16 I went to like the Spanish sounding beat. And like he was throwing punchlines in with like the Spanish accent. And I'm like, yo, this dude is bananas, yo. And you could tell he was freestyling. Like you could tell it wasn't written. And I say all that to say there's talent everywhere. And I've learned to appreciate, even though the sound may be different than what I've traditionally considered hip hop. Outkast is a great example. I was not a big Outkast fan. Ti will save for another discussion. Doesn't really.
Ti got bars. He got bars.
He does. I'm not going to argue that, but he doesn't really do it for me. I don't know that I want to see him like mic to mic. I don't know if I'm like, yeah, come on, let's get it. I mean, I wouldn't back down from it, but I'm not going in like, yeah, I'm about to mock Ti. I'm not sleeping on his ability at all. He just doesn't do it for me. But yeah, like Outkast. It took me a while to warm up to Outkast, but once I got over the kind of that little sound, I was like, these dudes are dope. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it, though. There's definitely dope people everywhere, yo.
Thanks. Yeah.
I think I accepted anybody from anywhere because I'm from Colorado, so I ain't got no choice. I can't speak down on nobody when it comes to hip hop. I thought I was a guest at first.
Here's a fun fact. I hated I Got It Made when I first heard it. Special Ed. I hated it when I first heard it.
Wow, why?
That cadence was so different. I was like, yo, anybody could do that. The cadence was so. Now, it didn't take me long to warm up to it. I also hated Benita Applebum the first time I heard it.
Can somebody please shut this man's mic
off? Can we go ahead and cut him off? Rashid has been dropped from the Zoom.
Blasphemous.
I'm keeping it a buck. Now, it didn't take me long to warm up to either of those, but I was not a fan of either of those songs on my first listen.
Hey, I'm gonna send you the address to send your hip hop membership card into.
Yo, hey, I'm just keeping it a
that's dope.
buck, yo.
I got some songs I've done that too. I can't bring them to mind, but I slept on some dope too. Outkast I relate to you on that because Outkast, I would not mess with them at all at first, and now 3 Stacks is like that's my man, Joe. I love.
Yeah, they dope. Yeah, but but like I said, man, both of those songs.
What about Goody Mob?
I mess with Goody Mob. I like Goody Mob. I like Goody Mob from the door.
Yeah, that first joint, man. That Who's Looking in My Window? That shit was crazy.
Crazy. They had a couple dope joints.
And I'll be honest, like kind of Rap City, early MTV Raps, they both helped me expand because they were kind of my introduction to music. Philly and New York and Jersey, we weren't really playing much if it wasn't from that tri-state. You know what I'm saying?
That was true. Yep.
You know what I mean?
If it wasn't from New York, New Jersey, whatever, people wasn't really playing it out here.
Yeah, right. The rest of hip hop hated y'all for a long time. Man. Y'all wouldn't give nobody a chance.
I'm a microcosm of what the big issue was. It's like I am literally the issue.
You the reason the South and the West Coast came so hard,
right?
Man, and they came with a chip on their shoulders.
And they should have. And then we kind of gave it to them, and but that's a different story for a different day. But yeah, like it was very regional. You know what I'm saying? So to get access to those videos from those other parts of the world or the country at that point in time were good for me because I'm like, yo, again, the Common joint, yo, I don't think I would have heard Soul by the Pound if it wasn't for whatever that rap video show was at that point in time. But when I saw it, I was like, this boy's a problem.
That Can I Borrow a Dollar, man. I think I got on Common when he dropped Take It Easy. When he dropped Take It Easy, he was still in that doing that DAWS effects a little bit, that wiki wild style.
Yeah.
But when I first heard that, I loved him. Like I remember the first time I heard it was Eazy-E, and on his album he said something about being from Detroit, from Compton, Michigan. And I actually thought Compton was in Michigan. I was like, oh man, who are these dudes from Compton, Michigan? I never heard of Compton before. And but I like those guys, and I always like if they dope, y'all I know y'all from Chicago, so y'all know about Kid's sister. Like Kid's sister was, man, when I first heard her, man, I was in love, yo. I love that. I love, I just like it when it's dope, man.
Yeah, that's actually my guy cousin. Kid's sister, my guy little cousin.
Man, I was in, woo. Let It Bang, yo. What's that? Let It Bang, yo. Yo. I was in love with her, man.
I didn't hear it. I ain't heard it yet.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that artist at all.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to think. This some years ago. I was rocking with her, but
Was she this millennium?
Or
90s or what?
she's in the 2000s. Yeah, I was married. So it's been a while.
Check out. I'm gonna check for her.
Yeah, the boy Juice was freestyler written. Whew, Jesus. That song. That song to me is the epitome of the beat don't even gotta be that dope because what I'm about to say is going to outshine whatever beat you put in. That freestyler written is otherworldly to me, yo.
Who's is that?
By Juice, the Chicago cat. Yeah.
Yeah, Juice. J.U. Ice.
I don't know him.
I'm gonna have to check him out.
Yeah, that's a dude. I was like, I don't even. He in the crowd. I don't even rhyme, yo. Yeah, I'm here as a fan. Nah, I've never wrote a rhyme in my life. What you talking about this rap stuff, so?
You have to send me a link and put me up on a song. So
I'll shoot the freestyler written drink to you.
It'll work.
Yeah.
I got a question for y'all too. I just started this earlier. Oh, that's him?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Sincere. All right. Freestyling, man. In y'all opinion, has the definition of freestyling changed or been modified?
Yes. Can
It's
I
not
talk
just me.
about this? Can I talk about
Please,
this?
somebody, man, because it's been bothering me for decades.
Like nowadays, I know what people mean, but like back in the day, we had two types of a freestyle is off the top. A freestyle is off the top.
Period.
But now it's like that period. I would say period. But back in the day, I can say we had a situation where we called freestyles were like, they weren't in songs. Like a freestyle was just, it could be just a throwaway rhyme. Like, but then it developed, like now I would say it's just to make it clear to everybody, a freestyle is just off the top. But back in the day, we used to call a freestyle could be just any rhyme that's not in the song, a rhyme that you just say in a cipher could have been a freestyle to us, but it changed over time.
I view it the opposite. I was always a freestyle is off the dome, nothing written, you know, and over time has gotten to kind of, you know, like the first example I kind of remember was and it wasn't really a freestyle, but K Solo, you know, his verse on
oh yeah, Knick Knack Paddywhack.
Knick Knack Paddywhack, yeah. So like you heard the verse, you're like, yo, this dude's a monster. Then you come to realize when you hear his album, it was just 3 verses from the album sewn together. Like it wasn't even. It just was stuff you hadn't heard yet, and now he wasn't calling it freestyle. But I say all that to say, so now today, like anything that you kind of do that somebody else may not have heard yet, like people would argue that the reels today that we do are freestyle, and I'm like, nah, I've done some freestyle reels, and you could probably tell because I'm in that joint like, and with these glasses on, I'm blind as a bat. You know what I'm saying? It's more choppy to me because I'm literally trying to think of what I'm about to say. You know, so that's kind of why I say I'm the opposite of you, Kareem. Like I feel like it now is more anything that somebody else may not have heard yet is what people refer to as freestyle.
See, I feel what you're saying, but I say it's I started saying just off the top because that it just makes it easier for people because it seems to be a nerve or a trigger for some people. But to me, it's like either you good or not. can you rap or not? I don't care whether you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, just don't front. Don't front. Because I enjoy both. But when I freestyle, I have to get warmed up. I usually, I don't usually start off hot. Like, I have to,
Of course.
Give me a minute. You know what I'm saying? And then get the engine running and then. But we used to freestyle heavy, man. That used to be real. Like, if we had Instagram back in the day, I remember one time on State's campus, man, in Truth Hall, we had a crowd. Like, they was just pointing at stuff. And we just rapping about this, what this girl got on, or rapping about what time it is, or whatever, man. And that's the kind of like what I wanted to bring with the Instagram stuff is just showing how fun it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to be what people are making it sometimes, So yeah, Supernatural. Supernatural is one of the...
Yeah, Supernat is... Somebody mentioned Supernat earlier tonight, but yeah, Supernatural is definitely done with it.
Yeah, he could yeah, exactly, Mr. School. Yes, all day, yo.
Yeah, I was introduced to freestyling as off the top, so to me it was odd to see people spitting written joints at first. So I guess I wonder like where it really originated, where the term really originated, what the original intention was for it.
So to MidSkool, what is your kind of your recollection or interpretation of what?
Well, I grew up the same as a lot of you. Freestyle was just off the top, but this is if you're making money, you gotta survive, you gotta eat, and then one bad verse will just affect you a lot. So I don't begrudge anybody anything. I know a lot of people have a freestyle, they come through with a written. I understand where they're coming from, but as I grew up, freestyle meant off the top. Yeah. If somebody asked me to freestyle, I would have to do off the top.
Yep. Yeah, and no judgment one way or another. I don't hold anything against somebody for spitting the written. It's just the definition of the word. I want to clarify. I just want to understand like what everybody else's history is, because I got something in my head. And I'm just wondering if everybody thinks the same way I do.
I love that you said the definition, because now you know what I'm saying, because we getting into that language stuff, and like that's what I've been trying to get out of. Like Pitchfork got me I'm trying not to be so judgmental, and trying to get out of that. And the definition, I'm not even worried about. I'm more about behavior. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody can interpret things. They can say it means this, it means that. I'm just about behavior and the end results of that behavior. But the definition, that word always gets me. That's something else I always put in rhymes too. Questions, and then not the word, but definitions, the things that I think are definitions. And then you pick the word. What is it? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, where are you from, Kareem? Are you from South Carolina originally?
Nah, I was born in Harlem Hospital. I was in the Bronx till I was about 8 years old. Okay. I was in the park when hip hop was starting. Like I was a baby. I was in the park because my cousin was Jazzy D. He was a Black Spade, and he used to actually rap. And he knew Africa Bambaataa, and he knew some of that's those people in the Bronx growing up. So
you wasn't hanging out at Bam's crib, was you?
No, sir. No, sir. And that shit ain't funny, man. That shit is not funny, yo. That's fucked up. Like that hurt me, man. When you know what I'm saying? Because it's true.
Word.
Because you don't have all those allegations. You ain't gonna have no, you know what I'm saying? Like when it's smoke, it's something going on. So that really hurt me, T-Bear. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like I was like very disappointed, man. But that goes into the power of hip hop. Anything, it seems like with black folk or just anything that we're associated with, we're supposed to be perfect, because yeah, I don't even want to get into all that, but you know,
yeah,
like,
that's a discussion for another time. Cause I'm with you. Like,
that's a whole conversation, definitely.
I mean, we didn't had our conversations about it, but yeah, we can get into it later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to your point, like, you know, and I forget who I was talking to about this. Like, actually, my man on Instagram, but I'm like, yo, I used to feel like I had to fight every fight. Like, I had to prove that all black men aren't criminals. I had to prove that there are good black fathers out there. I had to prove that, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell you in a second, like, you don't got nothing I want. Like, there's nothing about you that makes me want to hurt you. Like, you're not even worth me trying to hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think less of you than being willing to hurt you because you're not even worth it. And I had to let me rephrase that. I'm still trying to grow out of that. I view it differently at different times, but, you know, to your point, Kareem, like, why do we feel like we have to be perfect? It kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little earlier in some way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's unlearning some of that wherever it came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that dude's he's a person. Yeah, I don't expect any more from him than I do from the Catholic priest.
Yeah.
So are you talking about like us as a community and why we have so much contention?
Not even. I'm talking more about why
YOCOEAK.
What?
YOCOERK.
Oh yeah, but can you at least say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Okay.
You say what's up?
What's up? Ah!
All right.
Peace.
No, I was speaking more on just and I don't even know if it's self-inflicted, for lack of a better term, but just the need to prove that the stereotypes aren't always true. You know what I'm saying?
You mean like in your community, or just walking down the street, or professionally?
I actually don't mean in my community. I think I mean everywhere except for my community. I think within my community, you know, what's understood doesn't have to be said. You know what I mean? That goes a long way. That goes a long way. You know what I mean? We understand all that. But the outside of the community, like, you know, people laugh at me, you know, where I live at now. I was telling some people in the organization I belong to, like, I rarely drive one of my cars, not because I don't enjoy driving it, but just because every time I get in there, pulling out, I got to think about all the stuff that could happen because I'm in this car. And now, nothing's happened. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been pulled over. I haven't been stopped. None of that stuff. So where does that thought come from? Why do I feel like people would think I'm not capable of getting this vehicle through an honest means?
And why do you care too? And why do you care?
Why do I care?
Part of it, not personally, but I'm just saying in general.
Why do they care?
In general, yeah. Why do we care? Like, yeah.
Right. Yo, I promise you, dog. Me and my dad was in the whip. We was going like this car event called Cars and Coffee. And when we went, this was kind of in the peak of COVID. So we went. It was cold outside. They ended up canceling. So we came back. We were sitting not in my driveway, but in front of my house, along the street. And my neighbor across the street, I don't know if it's the wife or the husband, but one of their parents was in town. And like, you know, dude literally drove past and was looking at my car like, that's the dude across the street? Like how could he possibly? Like, I mean, pulled in the driveway, got out, looked back, and to the point where when she got out, she went out of her way to say something to me about it. Like, yo, I'm sorry, he just really likes your car. I'm like, nah, that ain't what that shit was. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, why do you even care? You know what I'm saying? And why did my means of acquiring this have to be illegal? I was telling a dude actually at one of the meetings last year that story. Like, it was a white dude. I'm like, yo, every time I hop in this joint, like even driving here today, I'm like, yo, no speeding. Make sure you come to a complete stop. Make sure you use your turn signals. All the stuff I do driving anyway, but now it's like, you don't need to give nobody no extra incentive to stop.
Bro, you don't drink or smoke. Like,
bro, but so feel me.
I'll be whipping at me.
Yo,
I had a bucket taken by the police, so I had a bucket taken for me driving while black. So
this dude had he had a brand new joint, right? And he was like, yo, believe it or not, I know exactly what you're saying, because my wife is black and she refuses to drive this car.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just that extra attention that gets attracted to you, and some of that attention isn't wanted.
All attention ain't good attention, especially when it's not wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not really within our community as much as it's everything outside of our community. You know what I'm saying? Like, the little kid down the street be like, "Oh my God, I love your car." I'm like, yo, you can have one of these. Look, like, it's a car at the end of the day, but it's not that hard to achieve, little man. You know what I mean? Do what you gotta do, figure out your plan, and make it happen.
I'm dying to know what kind of car you got.
It's a Porsche. It's a Porsche.
Okay. I don't mean to call
Nah,
you
that's
out.
cool. Nah, that's cool. That's cool. But again, like, it's like I live in a little town that's. I think I took it to get inspected last year, and the dude at the inspection station was like, "We do not see these here." Like, you know what I mean? He's like, you mind if I ask what you paid for it? And like, he was like, his interest was genuine. You know what I mean? It wasn't coming from a bad place, but in my heart, I'm like, yo, just inspect my car and let me get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a car at the end of the day. I just happen to be able to afford the drink, but at the end of the day, when I brought my Mazda around here, you wasn't on that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that all that stuff outside of our community is kind of the stuff where I feel like.
What do you think we should do about it?
I don't know. Like, I got a 3-year-old, I got a 26-year-old. And I tried to instill in my oldest, like, yo,
you look like you're 26.
My man. But I tried to instill in my oldest, like, yo, I'm not gonna tell you what success is. And I think wasn't me and you having this discussion last week, Sha. But I'm like, you have to define success, because me trying to define it for you could be more damaging than it is helpful. You know what I'm saying? I'm living that. You know what I'm saying? My parents would be like, yo, he has made it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, but this ain't really what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So making it is relative. You know what I mean? But I think for us as a community, yo, we have to get to a point in my mind where we're willing to sacrifice for the greater good. You know what I'm saying? Because
Can I ask you, in terms of sacrificing for the greater good, might we not sometimes make some songs about this?
I think we do. I think the challenge is bigger than the music, though, because the music exists. It's the promotion or the in my eyes, the blatant disregard for making that balance available. So when I say that, there is we'll take the symphony for instance. If you think about when the symphony came out, you heard the symphony at the 9 at 9 countdown. That was the only time you was gonna hear the symphony on a weekday, or in the Rap Attack Molly Mall joints, the actual hip hop shows. But as far as spins throughout, the 8 to 5 business day, it wasn't going to happen. Now it was in the countdown because it was a hot song, but and you think about it, this was 30 years ago, 90, 30 years ago, 31 years ago, 32 years ago. Ass, Big Daddy Kane had the only curse in the song, if I remember correctly. It was ass, and it was beat. So within a 30-year window, and that's being extremely generous, we've gone from not being able to say ass on the radio to literally being able to do any and everything we want to each other with no repercussion. As a matter of fact, in my humble opinion, it's promoted in that way because the music is now doing the job that for a period of time from the late 80s to the mid to late 90s had been somewhat eradicated by the positive messages that were in hip hop. For every Just Ice that you had a G-Rap, you had a Kid and Play, you had NWA, but then you had yes, son.
Can you get me milk?
1 second, nigga. Ask your mom to get it, buddy.
But you can take your phone.
I can't. My phone's up here, buddy. Give me 1 second, okay?
You can take your
All right, you
phone.
gotta wait a second, baby.
I don't want to. I don't want to take your
Butters,
phone.
you gotta wait a second,
I don't
okay?
want
So
to.
you go ask your mom.
I don't want to.
You're not gonna have milk, buddy.
I
But
want
you
to.
had, you had your, you had your EPMDs. There was balance in the music, and that balance still exists today, but it is not provided to the people. So if you're not looking for it, you don't get it, and that to me is one of the bigger problems. But we again have to sacrifice as a community to get it there. I don't care if you like the baby. I like the baby, but turn that crap off. Turn the radio off and make them realize, yo, we want better than this for our people. Really, not even our people, for our kids, because that's who it's really directed towards.
Okay,
That's not acceptable for my child. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Or give me the baby and then follow the baby up with somebody like I don't even know, I don't know, a little brother or something other than that. Give me something that says partying is fun without me having to be high or sipping lean or trying to get mad at the chick because she ain't give me no place and now I gotta smack her up in the back of the room. Like, what I mean? We need balance at the very least. So that's when I say kind of the greater good.
I wish my
Hey,
camera was working. Yeah.
But just to piggyback off what you're saying, like my thing is, I think there's been a breakdown in well, of course there's been a breakdown in the community, like the community, even though it doesn't feel like a community, because we talked about how competitive it is and how ready to throw someone under the bus the first opportunity. But when do we as a group take responsibility? Why, like for my situation, I don't live with my kids, and that's one of the biggest regrets. I was in the house with my son until he was 10, and then we got a divorce, and it's been rough on all of us since then. But prior to that, I was on him, like as far as what you listen to about, things like that. He was just exposed to all types of music, and like we can't let the world raise us. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us at some point to disconnect and limit our interaction with with the unnecessary things.
And
then
that's kind of my bad. Go ahead, my bad.
Now I was saying that when we do participate, I know for me, I try to drop jewels in a way where it's like the bait and switch, because I don't want to be preachy. And like I said, I'm trying to get out of being that judgmental person. I don't want to be judgmental because I'm screwed up too. So, but I do want to provide some kind of relief, and I want people to feel close to me, like relatable. But I don't have the answers, but I do know that we need to make some adjustments. Like you said, like this music is out of control, man. And it is, like, that's why I love hip hop so much, because it saved me. It literally saved my life, yo. So I know it can help someone else. And that's why I do it. But yeah, they know it's like it's a tool that's being used against us right now. And
that's my point, right? So like you were saying, my daughter's 26. I would put my daughter's musical knowledge up against most people. Like my daughter knows the Baby and Lil Baby and the Lil Durks and all that stuff, Millie Rock, but my daughter knows Kane. My daughter could throw a 90s party and rock it as well as anybody I know. You know what I'm saying? But that, to your point, that was a conscious effort. But I had to give her that. You know what I'm saying? So one could ask, why? So if we take a situation like my daughter didn't live with me. I had every other weekend. You know what I'm saying? That was what it was. You know what I mean? But I tried to make the most of that time. Musically, educationally, trying to drop jewels, like every opportunity I had, without being like, oh my God, Dad, not this again this weekend. But I knew how important that was. Now I can't say I knew we was gonna be where we are now, but I understood the importance of exposing her to everything from classical music to rock to classic hip hop, and then also embracing some of what she was hearing on the radio. Because I had to be in tune with that to kind of help her navigate through what she was being exposed to. Because that's there way more than I am.
So I think that's very, very powerful. But can I just mention that, I see what both you were saying and what Kareem was saying, and I think it's so interesting to think about, we can blame those who are articulating their reality, or we can look to why they need to articulate that reality in the first place.
Facts.
There are people, there are forces, there are structures, there are histories that have come into play to put us in that situation. My professor the other day was talking about how, the beauty of our culture is the fact that, like hip hop, we take what we don't have or we seemingly don't have and we make it something to have. People didn't rock jeans all the time. We did that. And now you have $500 jeans. People didn't rock sneakers the way they do now. We took what we had and we made it fabulous. And now everybody wants to do that. So much of we didn't have that food like everybody else had. Boom, we do our chitlins, all right? We'll do that. We'll put a little cheese on a little pasta. We don't have all that, the Italian food and all that. We just do our thing. We make from what is not there, we make our lemonade. That's part of our culture. And some of us, how we want to term it or look at it, we are dealing with pain, generational pain. You have the industrial prison complex. You have stop and frisk. Never mind the fact of if one child is to go through or undergo like mental, physical, sexual abuse, they have troubles, they have difficulties, they have challenges. They can still overcome, but why do they even need to? Take that and multiply it by 200 years of slavery and the impact on that of that, and then you see people dealing with that as best they can, and there's a lot there. What I want to say is that a lot of us are dealing with what we deal with, and we articulate what we articulate. And I think having the space to let that out and let people know, if people don't like the message, change the reason why I have to go through that in the first place. And then I want to say, I prefer not to curse that much. I think nothing wrong with it, but I don't. But I just want to say that the spaces for us to articulate ourselves, and I want to also say, as an industry, we maybe, Pitchfork, GRYSKLL might want to just expand that. For example, I might want to expand it and give other voices a chance to be amplified, rather than say necessarily that your termed experience is not what I want to hear. As a balance.
So let me ask you this. So are we so do we think that what is being provided as quote unquote hip hop or music today through our mainstream channels is all that these individuals have to offer? Or is it the business decision of, hey, I can get you here, but this is what you have to give me? Because those are two different drivers to the same end result.
So I think this is a very powerful what you're saying, and my answer is D, all of the above. I never want to tell anybody like don't do anything. Like you said, you do you, I'll do me. Mm-hmm. Now we have like 5 MCs in this, for example, we have 100 MCs in this space, and there's a lot of people spitting something that I don't necessarily care for. So you know what? You do that. Spit what you can. Get your money, survive, take care of your family. But I'm gonna try to create spaces for others to do other kinds of music that I think could be valued in this space. I'm not gonna tell anybody not to do what they're gonna do, but I'm gonna try to open the pie up so other people can have a chance to articulate other things and I can hear what I want. I'm so interested to hear what T-Bear gotta say about it. I see him, he's ready to drop some jewels right there.
Ain't too much to drop. I mean, hell, but we done been over this 1,000,001 times. I mean, shoot, we already know that hell, I'm trying to figure out where to start because it's been so much we talking about, trying to get back to the original question. Yeah, let me start there. Let me go back to the original. The original, why we, us black folks, let's just call it what it is, why we act the way we act, why we think about things the way we think about. And it's because of how we're portrayed, which kind of goes back to what MidSkool was talking about in his first quiz. You know, how do we are being defined instead of us telling our definition. And that's all this stuff really is. We've been defined as thugs, we've been defined as criminals, we've been defined as pimps. Shit, we done been defined as damn near everything negative under the sun. But
do we have to keep perpetuating that?
Do we have to keep perpetuating it?
The greater we.
Yeah. The problem is, it's like, damn it, I wish I remember which damn movie it was. It was one of them damn movies where the earth was getting destroyed. I think it was the joint where Morgan Freeman was the president. And the earth was getting ready to get hit by a meteor or asteroid or some shit. And they was like, we should tell everybody, we should tell the world. And it was like, no, you can't do that because the people gonna panic. It was like because a person is intelligent, but people are the most irrational motherfuckers in the world. And so it's like, do we have to keep portraying it? You don't, I don't. But do we do it? Yeah, we do.
And let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you this, She. Like, who's paying these people? Who's providing the millions to these people that's talking about Percocets and all this shit?
That's my point.
Who's paying them? Can we get a check? Can GRYSKLL get a check?
But no, GRYSKLL can't get a check.
No, can't get a check.
GRYSKLL can't get a check. Not because maybe we do or don't deserve one, but because we would go against the agenda.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
We won't compromise our value.
I feel some kind of way about that. I feel some kind of way.
But they don't care that we feel a kind of way because they're not even. We're dinosaurs, B. They don't care about us. Like they trying to get my son. They trying to get my son.
Mm-hmm.
My son is 3. They trying to get my son. You know what I'm saying? Like the what's the number on the demographic? 13 to 28.
Something like that. Yeah, 13 to 25, I think.
You know what I'm saying? They so my son might be a little young, but they coming for him too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like, you know, at a certain point, we already lost that fight. It doesn't even make sense to invest in that at this point in time. But if I can get all these little cats over here, you know what I'm saying? And I'm oversimplifying some things on purpose, but
you're telling me that the executives aren't genuine about the artists that they promote? You telling me that the best music doesn't get put out? Is that what you're telling me?
That's exactly what he's telling you.
I think that might be what I'm saying. I think that might be it. I know that's a shocker. I know it's hard for you to swallow, but I think that might be it. But you know, and to again, and I don't even have a problem per se with the message. Think about a song like As We Lay. When I heard As We Lay as a youth, I was singing the heck out of As We Lay. But you know what I didn't know? What the heck they were talking about.
Yep.
It was all metaphorical. It was at a level to where my parents understood it. They probably having some conversations about it. Like, let me sing that song. What you mean as you know? But me, I was like, this lady can blow. As we lay, I forgot about the problem. You know what you get now? Come over here and stick it in my booty hole. Like literally.
Yeah.
You know, like there is no metaphoric value. There is no masking the subject matter. It is raw and uncut.
But can I mention?
There's one problem I have with that though.
Yeah.
Is especially from our generation, we point that finger and say today or these younger kids or whatever. It was happening in our era too. It's just that the gatekeepers only allowing a certain part to reach the masses. There's a whole lot of youngins that are doing shit that we would respect and love, but we don't see that unless we dig. Just like
don't for 1 second let me lead you to believe that I'm not guilty. I'm not trying to play no holier than thou card at all. But what I am saying is because of the way things were structured, you know what I'm saying? We knew, bro, I was sneaking. I literally sat in class in 7th grade with my math book open with Playboy magazines inside the math book. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not acting like we didn't have access or exposure, but there was balance. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there is just trying to protect what was getting into our ears, our eyes, and our heads. Not so much with a lot of youngins now.
Okay, I'll agree with that. But the gates, G-Rap was not necessarily a ho-hum rapper, yo. Road to the Riches. When I was 5 years old, I realized there was a road at the end. I would win lots of pots of gold. Never took a break, never made a mistake. Took time to create. Now it's money to make to be a million. Like, he's talking about drug dealing. Like, there's no secret. You know what I mean? But after that one off, you know what you got? Ain't gonna hurt nobody. We just dancing, babe. And you know what you got after that? It takes two to make a thing all right. Then you got after that, the Wrath of Kane. Then you got after that, something else. So it wasn't, you know, you got KRS telling you, you had somebody telling you to go, like, the balance was there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't G-Rap. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Percocet, Molly, weed, oxycodone. Like, the balance was there, and it wasn't 24 hours per day.
Hey, MidSkool. Like, yeah, I feel you. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, now that we have things like Instagram, we have these social media platforms. It's easier for us to just do our thing and show it. But prior to that, like, yeah, that's all we can do, MidSkool. All we can do is what we do and put it out and hold it down for our people, in our legacies, individual legacies or whatever. But that's all we can do, in my opinion. And I'm,
yeah. But Mr. Kareem,
yes, sir.
You guys, yeah. Not only can you do that, but you now have a platform, and you have authenticity, and you have legitimacy. You can now create those spaces that we are now talking about we want to have. We can keep talking about what the next man did, but we have that. You have a space. You have GRYSKLL. So how many shorties out there are kicking the kind of now? Exactly, I agree. And how many other? Yeah, I agree. Right there. Nice to meet you. Respect.
There you go. You say hello.
Let's swipe it up. Let's swipe it up.
Oh, you're talking about the other picture. Yeah, but hold on, Daddy's on the phone. Okay.
So I want to just say, like, I now also have the space to amplify those other voices.
I want to be up.
I mean, GRYSKLL could make, like, I heard Tobias had that organization. Pitchfork had organizations and meetings where you got people together. You can now create other spaces. Maybe you got the dope beats. You got so many dope beats. I'm gonna make a contest, right? This is the beat. A whole bunch of people rock to that. Whoever does the best one, not the best. We don't have to put the best. I'm one of those people who don't do the best. Whoever has the one that we most have synergy with, we will take your vocals. We'll give you a beat. Take your vocals, mix it up, and make you a song that you can rock and promote yourself. There's a ton of things like this that can happen. I would love to have each of you in your individual auspices to come to one of my conferences and talk to the youth.
Support.
Simply this space right here, this conversation, right? This space and this conversation, just having maybe having 10 high schoolers in it, or 10 students or something like that, or somebody in it, and just participating and hearing what they have to say. That would be so powerful. They will be next to, yo, you know what happened? What? I was on that GRYSKLL What? Yeah. Like, they invited me. Like, they respected my thing, right? And then we now have the power to empower others, to amplify those voices. So I love this conversation about what the next man is doing, but we can just take a step back. We're looking at the circle, right? The circle of things happening. Take a step back and be the circle outside that circle, to contribute to what's happening there.
Support.
Amplify support.
Yes.
Support. Yeah.
That's dope. That's kind of That's actually how you got here, MidSkool.
Pretty much,
MidSkool,
yeah.
That I mean, but the fact that you're saying it kind of reinforces the fact that
it's working.
The intention is right, and the playbook might also be solid. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. Yeah. And I'm gonna say before I lose it too. I appreciate the way you're approaching the discussion, because it's definitely different than how I would approach it, and it's really forcing me to look at myself and kind of think about things like, for all the stuff that I've done, things that I could continue to do or maybe do differently or better. So I definitely appreciate that, man. For real.
Me too, brother. Yeah, that's how you got me inspired and motivated and just thinking a little differently. So I definitely appreciate this conversation tonight, for sure.
Definitely.
I was anything that I'm possibly able to do, I'm only able to do so because I'm bouncing off the ideas you have. So much respect.
And I wanted you to mention one more thing about your crew. You said you got a crew out in Japan that's looking to jump on stuff too, so we might be able to. My opportunities to connect and maybe.
Well, David unofficially is part of our crew. He was in the studio so often. We had a spot in Tokyo. It was like the spot. It was my man's spot, my partner. My crew is the Life Pencil crew.
That's a dope name. Tell me to say that when you said it earlier.
Yeah.
Respect. The Life Pencil crew, we're pretty Googleable. We had a spot in Tokyo, and everybody used to come by. We just made like lots of songs. Actually, I need to post some of these things. Yeah. They're pretty dope. Down with the Okizu. I think there's a lot of good stuff there. So yeah, Light Pencil Crew is the name of the crew. And yeah, my dude, Soch. Yeah, I would definitely, if we could ever invite him here, that would be great. Or just want to do something. He's always down to do music. He's a real hip hopper. Like, he could have been making like big money doing something else. He quit his job to be like a hip hopper, and
that's beautiful.
He's a real hip hopper. He's from Tokyo, born in Tokyo. He raps in Japanese. If ever we do something, we can get some translations for you. Again, it's just all about love and the hip hop. David, I love to make music with David. David was always at the studio. We had this one spot, and just everybody would go. There were all kinds of rappers. Everybody would just go. That was our spot. Light Pencil, David, my man Soch, yeah.
Pencil, that's dope.
Yeah, Light Pencil was dope, though.
That's dope.
Hey, yo, I'm about to get out, y'all. I gotta get.
We all got.
All right, homie. Yeah, I think we all about to rap. Yeah.
But yo, Mid, man, you's a dope dude, man.
Look, man.
You's a dope dude. Your ideas, your thought patterns, man. It's just we don't get a lot of that around here, man. It's real pleasure speaking with you, bro. But yeah, we definitely gonna keep in touch, because now you got all types of ideas bubbling in everybody's heads, I'm sure. So even if it ain't a group thing, I'm sure you gonna hear from us individually.
Yep.
You know?
Word.
Like, man, to reiterate what Dragon said, man, whenever you want to hop in and build with us, man, just let somebody know, man, you are welcome.
I have a show about linguistics, the one I told you about. So at some point, I would like to have you on as either a group and or individually, each of you, and we talk about linguistics. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I'm the king of spreading myself thin. So all you gotta do is say the word, bro. I'll be like, I'm the king of spreading myself thin. So yeah, just let me know.
I know it's been a long night. Appreciate you taking this long to hang with us, man. It's been a blessing. We really appreciate your time, man, and all of your insight and thoughts, bro. It's been beautiful.
Real,
my first hangout. This is perfect, man.
Respect everybody. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, love everybody. Man.
Thank y'all all, man. Appreciate you, man. Always a pleasure, fellas. All right, thanks, everybody.
Peace.
Have a good one, man. Peace. Kareem Muse with One to Dial. Yo, Dragon's Pitchfork. Yeah. Back in the day, today, it's all the same. Originality, tag a train, get fame, spit flame. My partner's name, Godzilla. I be a hard to kill killer. In a group form, in ciphers all night long. Now they only cipher at BET Awards. The show I heard about. I get bored and freestyle. Me and my man be the one to dial. Before smartphones, I was attacking clones. If it was known, it was known. No hashtags, but skills you had to have. Or good energy. The rules don't change. We something like referees.
In black and white zebra stripes like wow. Control the game and blow the whistle on anything that's foul. My style is borderline pristine. It's like magic. How I'm worthy of showtime when I rhyme with Kareem. Oh yeah. I'm from the days of Word is Bond, when the kid had to more than ad-lib to get on. Emit devilish flame every time I perform, and keep a dragon's pitchfork inside a black Yukon. Most will miss that, I ain't got time to explain. Suffice to say, what I say is worthy of praise. Digest that, two things I am, sick and black. Charge a handle, pull back, keep him in line like a click track. Mumble a trap to choose which evil is less as a stressor. The doc said it's bad for my blood pressure, so I stick to hip-hop and concoct something fresh as new linen, but smooth as single malt butterscotch. Yo, it's way too easy. Way too easy.
Last night, I swore I saw the devil sit in the living room.
Barbecue chicken wings and shiny cars, rims spinning, half dressed women, the world is ours. Yeah. Stay on my grind, East 99. More thugs, camouflage drugs with turpentine. 4th of July, how many times will bottle rockets pop off, taking another life? Temperatures hot as McDonald's fries, sporting tank tops and flip flops. Guess who trending on TikTok? Backyard birthday parties and kids running around trying to do the new dance to the sounds in the summertime. Project life, living like good times. My people all over the world, we celebrate. Clementine lemonade in the shade, playing spades with a stocking cap, trying to grow me some waves. We all get involved, this casting dogs, bumping Biggie Smalls, round of applause. We did it all in the. We came up together, tougher than leather. Used to run with DMC, try to keep the family together. Mama came home late from her workspace, try to hook us up with a hot plate, couple cube steaks. Papa's a rolling stone, pocket full of stones. Cop patrol the city, we roam, we made it home in a.
Let it be known. Hey yo, the boy D-Mon just gave you a photogenic view of summertime in the shop. Summertime in the city of wind. Real spitters. Hey yo, we got T-Bear on the cuts. I go by Tobias Black, aka Tobias the Gallant. Real rhymer. Boom bap is alive and well. Understand. GRYSKLL.